Salvatore M., you are bilingual, but frankly speaking, you don't look like someone who speaks Spanish.
Well, fuck you.
So with that preface, tell us about the time that you caught someone talking shit about you in Spanish right in front of you, and about how you catch them off guard when you reply in Spanish. I know it has had to happen because it happens to every bilingual person. Happens to me a lot, especially when I'm on the train and old Italian women start saying cafone around me. It's like they never dated me, but they already know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, it's happened. There's a lot of time, but there's like in Mexico sometimes, you know, like there was all these interviews, and I didn't fucking say that, and then you hear these reporters saying shit, and they would kind of make a sound. I was like, man, you would answer them in Spanish and then slang, and you'd fucking hit them hard and be like, you fucking. Then the Mexicans are racist, and it's not an insult, but they are. And I'd be like, you racist, dumb fucking motherfucker, you just don't get it. So yeah, I would school people like that. And it's also in English. You know, when I came to WCW, they were like, well, he's one of the Mexicans, and he just doesn't get it. And I'd be sitting there listening. And this is in the office at WCW. Huh. And it was like, he's not going to fit in, and we don't know how to work. And I said, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I said, I'm from Canada, man. I grew up in Montreal. I mean, you know, oh, we thought you were from Mexico. I said, Vampiro Canadian, because I'm Canadian. You know. Oh, we thought you were Mexican. I said, yeah, you fucking... Talk about racists.
But when you first started working in Mexico, and people, maybe guys in the locker room or promoters, didn't think you spoke the language, were they ever saying shit?
Probably, but I didn't know enough Spanish back then to catch them.
Mexico, next chapter. David Moreno, what is the locker room environment like in CMLL compared to AAA? Also, who better compensates their wrestlers, the Lutherov family or Joaquin Roldan?
It's a strange system. It used to be different. The Arena Mexico, it had a lot of guys in the late 80s, middle 80s, late 80s, early 90s who would spend a lot of time in Japan. So they were cultured differently. They're educated amongst Americans and Japanese. So their locker room etiquette was different. And they were older veteran guys who were really good wrestlers. They had a different foundation, they had a different background and a different etiquette. So when I first broke into the business, it was very formal. Dressed in a suit, tie, you know, very proper. Fucking around, of course, but it was just very cool and respectful. When AAA started, it was kind of like all these disgruntled, semi-mid-card guys from AAA, the riffraff, who just went and started a promotion. And then all these new guys just came in. Who were just, you know, like male strippers or all these kind of type characters with all these fucked up attitudes. So their dressing room was insane, I've heard. I'm assuming now, with the generation who is running the Arena Mexico, is under a lot of, it's hard. And I'll tell you why in a second. The AAA thing, I've seen it, I know it, and I'm told by my friends, there is a drug problem. And it's probably going to ruffle a lot of feathers once this gets out, but it doesn't bother me. The problem now is the economy in Mexico is brutal, and these wrestlers get paid a percentage. So if there's 300 people in the house and it's only $1 to get in, how much are you going to take home to your family? So the way the wrestlers who count, you know, in AAA, the top stars are working 4 or 5 times a month. There's not a lot of money. So how is it? Or how are they compensated? I don't know because I'm not there. I'm assuming AAA takes care of the best they can. They're top talent, as would the other company. But I haven't been there, so it's not my place, and it would be unfair. But that's kind of my opinion.
What you're hearing is that there's a drug problem in the locker room with the talent.
Yeah.
Which is affecting the product.
Of course, and you know, it's only a matter of time before another young man loses his life to stupidity. Because nobody's got enough balls to stop it.
Joe O'Neill, do the boys in Mexico play ribs on each other like they do in this country?
No.
Are they the same types of ribs?
No, they don't even play. That doesn't exist down there. Yeah, they don't get that's weird, but they don't even. It's just not there.
Rey Mysterio III says, "What did you think of the La Sombra Atlantis mask match, and would you have unmasked La Sombra at this point in his career?"
Probably. They make a lot of money for that, and they make a lot more money after, because they do a huge tour and they want to show his face for the first time. That's the way it used to be, right?
Right.
And I think that they are grooming Atlantis to be on the same level as a Santo or a Mil Mascaras or a Blue Demon, an iconic figure. He's been around so long, and it's probably unlikely that he will ever take his mask off at this point. And I think it's wise on the Arena Mexico's point, because he's somebody for the 80s, 90s, and 2000s and 10s to be comparable to an El Santo, for example. So I think they're doing the right thing.
Salvatore M., let's get to the important questions, for God's sakes here. What does a young non-Spanish-speaking American wrestler do in order to get mugged in the streets? Ostracized by the other wrestlers in the locker room and get his bag shit in on a nightly basis. Basically, what are the do's and don'ts for a gringo on his first tour of Mexico? The do's and don'ts.
Well, first of all, what the I got to read that. Mugged? Yeah, okay. Well, that ain't going to happen. Who the fuck told you that? Mexico is dangerous. Mm-hmm. You don't got to be a wrestler. You know, just don't go out at night. You don't know the language. You don't know the territory. You're probably going for a smaller independent promotion. You're staying in a shaky part of town. Just don't go out at night, mm-hmm. man. That's one thing. And no one's going to shit in your bag and beat you up. That doesn't happen, man. What
about being ostracized by like what would make you an enemy of the locker room in that culture?
Don't offer. Ask. Listen. Listen and agree. Don't say, I want to do this. Say, can you do this to me? Or, do you do that? I'd be happy to do this. Because then they will say, what do you want to do? Don't go in there and dominate. Be humble.
Okay. And if you are a non-Spanish speaking wrestler who goes down there for a tour, will they talk to you in English? Will they give you?
There's enough guys down there that speak broken English.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And if they're bringing you there to work, they're not bringing you to fuck around. You know, the best thing to do is get a girlfriend. You'll learn Spanish pretty quick.
Ron Dixon, being a big fan of Lucha, I've always wanted to go see a live show in Mexico. However, I've always been afraid to make the trip because I've heard there are arenas in some pretty bad neighborhoods down there. Could you give me some survival tips on what to do, what not to do in bad parts of town? Also, what places should I just not even bother going to?
Well, just don't go to bad parts of town. I mean, if you want to go to a big show in Mexico, in Mexico City, the Arena Mexico is safe. Okay. Or in Mexico City. If there is a major AAA show, like their summer events or their Triple Mania show, I would go to the Triple Mania show because that's in Mexico City at a very Americanized arena, and it's in a it's in a part of town where really nothing happens. Make sure you have your transportation. That's very important. Squared away. Because don't think you're going to walk outside and find a taxi. That won't happen. But if you want to go out to all these little spot shows, that's probably where you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Okay, so don't go to the spot shows.
No,
that's easy.
No.
Lucha Underground.